Today, we're going to be looking at doing the market update for the Durham region. I've got Saman Habibi here from the DR Group. Saman, what's going on today in the Durham region?
Right now, our active listings in the first 7 months of the year are the highest that they have ever been in the last 5 years of data, okay, which is shocking because that is going to have a direct impact on our prices. And as you can see, our prices are down 6% year to date versus 2023. And on a month over month basis, it's approximately 7%. So supply is coming to market. Not all of them are selling. And as a result, active listings continue to grow and grow and grow. And as a result, we're seeing prices come down. So let's talk about our investors. Here I have a picture of a property that one of my clients purchased recently in Clarington. And what I want to do is I want to kind of, lay out an example here of what a duplex purchase looks like today. So what I've done, if you take a look at my analysis over here to the left,
Welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. I'm Adam J.D. Martin, your host, and today we're going to be looking at doing the market update for the Durham region. I've got Saman Habibi here from the DR Group. Saman, what's going on today in the Durham region?
Man, a lot of exciting things going on. Prices moving up, coming down, inventory going up, coming down. A little confusing, but we'll dive in. Well, everyone, thank you again for joining in. We're going to be talking about the Durham region. The Durham region is a big area here, but nonetheless, there's a lot of activity going on, and we're very happy to break it down for everyone. So today we're going to be doing a market overview. We're going to be talking about prices in the different towns in the Durham region. We're going to be looking at by home type, by municipality, and then we'll dive into the investor data, why Durham region, and of course, why work with the DR Group when it comes to looking at your real estate. So let's jump in and let's take a look at what's going on in the Durham region. Here to the right, I have a map of the Durham region. It's a pretty big area. The first town, if we're coming from Toronto eastwards, is Pickering, and then all the way east we have Clarington, and then all the way north we have Brock. So it's a pretty big area, but nonetheless, let's take a look at what's going on. So today we're going to be comparing the months of June to July, and we're going to be taking a look at what's been happening month over month. New listings, surprisingly are down. Beginning of the year, we started to have inventory climb. At June, we kind of hit peak. And then in the months of July, we start to see inventory come down a little bit. Inventory is down approximately 9%. But then if we take a look at prices also came down around 6%. Now I'll explain why. Typically, when prices come down, we expect this to be as a result of increased inventory, but it's the reverse here. Inventory has actually come down, but prices have come down as well. I'll explain why in the next slide. Months of inventory has increased. Months of inventory is now at approximately 2%. 2 months of inventory. This is pretty high for the Durham region. Typically, we're around 1.5, 1.6 months of inventory, which puts us in a seller's market. However, I would say that the numbers suggest that we're in a seller's market, but it's far from the opposite. I would say we're in fact in a very strong buyer's market right now with not many buyers, and I'll explain what that means. Days on market has increased as well. So it is currently taking anywhere from 20 to 30 days to sell your home. This is very different for the Durham region. For a very long time, we were used to homes selling, in 7 to 10 days, but now that has almost doubled to 20 days. And our sales price to list price ratio has come down a little bit as well. This is that very important metric that we look at of what is a home being listed for and what is it being sold for. In previous months, this number was very high. It would be 110%, 120%, and that would tell us that homes are being listed below market value. But now a lot of homes are being listed at market value. And this is very important for people to know, because when you're out there searching, Realtor.ca, House Sigma, whatever website you may be on, it's important to know what this metric is, because this will tell you whether that listing you're looking at is on average going to sell for the listed price or above or under. So I want to, focus on this chart. This is a new chart that I'm bringing into our presentations because I think it's important to kind of compare, year to date, what's been going on. So what this chart is doing is this chart is looking of our year to date data from January to July of 2024. And so for the first 7 months, and what I've done is I've prepared new listings, sold, active listings, and average price. And I want to compare what's going on in all of these different areas, all of these different metrics in the first 7 months of the year. And I'm going all the way back to 2020. And I want to see, where are we compared to previous years? So let's talk about new listings. So our new listings, if you can take a look at 2024, in the first 7 months of the year, we're at 11,732 new listings. That is up significantly from the previous year. So in 2023, we only had around 9,500 listings year to date. This year, we're up approximately 22%, okay? That means that new listings are coming to market at a faster rate. This could be perhaps as a result of the interest rate increases that have been happening. Typically, when interest rates increase, we would expect to see that inventory or people hurting bring their homes onto market. And there's typically a 2-year lag. And I would say this is when we're seeing that lag come into effect. So as we know, interest rates started to increase in 2022. We started to see some inventory come to market, but not all of it. But I would say now that 2 years has passed, we're starting to see that effect, and hence why there's a 22% increase in new listings coming to market. Now, what's interesting to see is that the sold data has not increased as much. So what does that mean? That means that new listings are coming to market, but because prices are so unrealistic, they're not selling. So new listings would be our supply and sold would be our demand. And right now we can see that the supply is there, but the demand is not there. And I would say the only reason why the demand is not there is because there has not been a realization of market value prices. Homes are coming to market, they're sitting on market, and they're not selling. And this would be very, this statement would be true because our active listings are also high as well. So new listings are coming to market, that's our supply. Our demand is our sold. They're not many of them are selling. So now our active listings continue to increase. And as you can see right now, our active listings in the first 7 months of the year are the highest that they have ever been in the last 5 years of data, okay, which is shocking because that is going to have a direct impact on our prices. And as you can see, our prices are down 6% year to date versus 2023. And on a month over month basis, it's approximately 7%. So supply is coming to market. Not all of them are selling. And as a result, active listings continue to grow and grow and grow. And as a result, we're seeing prices come down.
Yeah, I actually would have expected to see the price come down greater than 5% for that many active listings staying on the market. So that's definitely an interesting stat for us to look at today. This does pose interesting opportunities for the people watching at home to be making offers, right? Like anytime you see this type of situation happening, we're seeing listings sitting, we're seeing people that have real credible needs and wants as to why they listed their property who are unable to sell. And that creates a really interesting opportunity as buyers and especially as investors to start making more creative offers, whether that is, I know you mentioned the financing clause, but there's lots of other ways to create unique offers that can really play on this situation where there's listings that are sitting, getting stale, and more keep coming to market every day. There's going to be more of these that just sit. So really good, interesting buying opportunity here.
Absolutely. I would say, for buyers, and we'll definitely talk about that as well. For buyers, this is the time to be out there, actively looking and actively offering and putting aggressive offers in, right? So I would say in the last month, there's been scenarios where my clients have said, can we offer X? And in my head, I'm thinking, ooh, that's a very low number. Like that doesn't seem realistic. But, lo and behold, like listing agents and sellers are entertaining these offers and they're saying, well, hey, if this is what we can get, then let's look at it and let's try and compromise. Let's try and meet in the middle. And I've seen some deals where I'm sitting there looking at sold data and I'm saying, wow, I can't believe they actually took that number. So deals are out there, very good buying opportunities right now. And if you're a buyer, this should be like the time that you're out there working aggressively to try and find that property that you've been looking for. So what I want to do is I want to break down the type of homes, the different type of homes and what their prices are. So again, we're going to be looking at June to July of 2024. I want to take a look at detached, semi-detached, townhomes, link, and condo apartments. And let's take a look at how these homes have moved in price. So the biggest decrease that we've seen is in the condo apartment section. So that's the very bottom line. So condos have dropped approximately 10% in prices. And this is because there's just so many condos coming to market right now. A lot of pre-construction projects in the Durham region have completed. Around the Pickering area, there's a ton of pre-construction that closed recently. And of course, typically these pre-construction projects are purchased by speculators who purchased, 2-3 years ago at a very aggressive price per square foot. And now a lot of these condos aren't even appraising at the price that they've been purchased for. So as a result, there's some blood on the streets, and some people are just letting these go because they just don't make sense from a speculation perspective. A lot of people were speculating that by the time they closed, prices appreciated and they were able to sell those, but that's not the case. And as a result, we're seeing a lot of that supply come to market. And because people just don't want to hold on to these properties because of the negative cash flow scenario and because of the fact that the appreciation speculation didn't play out, or decide to just sell these and get rid of them. So as a result, we're seeing a big decrease in these numbers. So what does this mean? If you're someone that wants to get into the market, but you don't want the responsibility of cutting grass, shoveling snow, worrying about your roof and additional maintenance repairs that come over time, condo apartments are typically or likely a type of property that you want to look at. And if that's the case, there's some really good options right now and at very good discounted prices. So condo apartments are type of homes that you're interested in. I'd say there's very good opportunities out there, most likely in the Pickering area, which is even better because if you're commuting, it's very close to downtown. It's a 20-25 minute GO train ride to downtown if you're working downtown. So there's some really good opportunities there. And then if we just take a look at detached homes are down around 2.5%. Semi-detached homes are down around 6%. Townhomes around 2% down, and linked homes have remained pretty stable. So linked homes, for anyone who doesn't know, are homes that are connected underground by one mutual wall, typically the wall that the garage is on. So above ground, it looks like a detached home, but underground, one of the walls is shared. One of the foundation walls is shared with another home. Those homes have remained fairly stable. But I think the message here is that if you're looking for homes and if you're a buyer in this market, prices are coming down and prices have been coming down. So this is a really good opportunity to stay active and see what you can qualify for, what you can purchase. Right here, you see that detached homes are on average priced at around $1,026,000, $1,028,000. There are scenarios where, you can buy a detached two-story for under $1 million. So it's not to say that this number, you're not going to be able to come under $1 million. You likely will. It's just a matter of being out there and searching for these type of homes. Now, I also want to do a quick comparison across the GTA and show you what prices are like across, the Durham region and rest of the GTA. And what we want to do here is pretty much show you, where the value proposition is. So I'm looking at detached homes as of July 2024, and I'm just going to do a comparison across the board. So we'll start on the far right in Oshawa. So the average detached home in Oshawa is around $820,000. If we go a little west to Pickering, you're at $1.157 million. Then we have Scarborough, you're at $1.140. Up north, you have Markham at 1.6, Vaughan at 1.5. Central Toronto, you're around 1.8, Mississauga 1.3, Oakville 1.8, Brampton 1.1, and Burlington 1.3. And I think the message that I'm trying to, take home here is that when it comes to affordability, the Durham region remains to be one of the most affordable areas in the GTA, and even the greater Toronto area. If we want to bring in Hamilton, it would be pretty comparable to Hamilton, but you still have some very good options here. And if you're going to be talking GTA, if you can afford to be in Pickering and being Scarborough or even the Mississauga area, great. But if you want to find a value proposition, if you want some good value in the property that you're purchasing, then the Durham region is by far the best area to be at.
Yeah, that's a great representation. Thank you for bringing that slide as well. I think it's useful to really just get more context, right, as to where the Durham region really sits in terms of price here for the broader GTA. So I think this is a great slide, Saman. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I think there's an illustration here that kind of talks about distance, relative to
Mm-hmm.
the highways downtown and so forth. But what I'll point out is that even if you're someone who commutes and needs to get to Union Station, the GO train line is very extensive here. You have stops all the way in Oshawa. It's going to expand even further east. You're going to have two in Oshawa and one in Clarington. But as of right now, you have your stops in Oshawa, Whitby, Ajax, Pickering, going all the way to Union Station. And from Oshawa, that GO train ride is around an hour 10, which is, faster than being in a car. And even let's say you were in Scarborough. If you were in Scarborough and you're commuting to Union Station in your car, you're over an hour. Whereas in Oshawa, you're saving a lot. There's what is this? This is a 250, almost 300K price difference, and your commute is approximately the same. And if you're in, Pickering, your commute, as I mentioned earlier, is around 25 minutes, but you're still much cheaper versus Mississauga, versus Toronto, or even up north in Vaughan, right? So the commute really is faster in the Durham region compared to some of the other areas. And,
Yeah.
in return, you are getting a better price as well.
Yeah, totally makes sense to me from a value proposition.
So let's talk about our investors. So, these investment properties have been taking a hit on price. We were at a point where duplexes were trading for, over $1 million at one point, but now they've been reduced and prices have been corrected quite a bit. Here I have a picture of a property that one of my clients purchased recently in Clarington. So this is a property that's, really set up as a semi-detached. So there's two units here. Each of these units have their independent furnace, AC, water line, hot water tank, separate driveways, separate grass area. And this was a property that my client purchased for $810,000 in the Clarington area. And what I want to do is I want to kind of, lay out an example here of what a duplex purchase looks like today. So what I've done, if you take a look at my analysis over here to the left, I've done a rental income to expense analysis, and what I'm assuming is an 820 purchase price with 20% down, 4.9% interest rate, and a 30-year AM. And so let's talk about the rental income. So right now, for an upper 3-bedroom unit, you can get anywhere from $2,300 to $2,500. I've assumed $2,300. For a lower unit, you're anywhere from $1,700 to $2,000. I've assumed $1,900. So our total rental income is $4,200. Our mortgage payments on that 820,000, 20% down, 4.9 is $3,400. Property taxes would be $375. Insurance would be $130. And then we have some non-cash reserves, maintenance and vacancy, for a total of $4,261 in expenses. So your cash flow right now would be minus $61. But if you take out your non-cash items, you would be cash flow positive. So that works out to be an approximately 6% return, annual return on your investment. That's assuming a 0% appreciation, right? So what I want to illustrate here is that if you're an investor and you're looking to buy a duplex, 820, 815, 820 is your break even price. Now, if you want to get cash flow positive, you have to be under this price. Are there opportunities where you're purchasing duplexes for under $800,000? The answer is yes. That typically comes with, some trade-offs of being in not so desirable location, as a result, your rental income is going to come down. But there are also scenarios where you can purchase some of these for higher prices as well, right? And you'll be in a better location and you'll have some better rents. So on average, duplexes are anywhere between 700,000 to 910. I'm just doing an analysis of one right down the middle, just to show what these numbers look like. And what I want to do is at the bottom, I've kind of summarized for all our viewers what kind of rental income you can expect to see. So on a single family home, the median rental income would be anywhere from $2,700 to $3,000 a month. And if you have an executive home, it's anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 a month. On our legal 2 units, we just went through them, but upper 3 bedrooms are $2,300 to $2,500. Lower 2 unit bedrooms are $1,700 to $2,000. And if you have a 1 bedroom, it's $1,400 to $1,600 a month. And then on the multifamily side, one bedroom unit will get you $1,100 to $1,500. Two bedrooms would get you $1,500 to $1,900, and then three bedrooms would get you anywhere from $2,000 to $2,300, plus all your utilities and hydro.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for aggregating all that into one place. I really appreciate that. And just looking too at your numbers, like, guys, these are really realistic numbers. They are super conservative. This is like how you guys should be running your numbers. This is textbook for what to look at, right? Like, I think it's a really good idea these days to include maintenance costs, to include vacancy, to include property management if that's what you're going to be doing. And I think it's something that gets overlooked when people are doing pro formas on properties. They just like ignore some of those costs, but they're real. Like, I mean, you are going to have some vacancies and you are going to have some maintenance. And I think also I appreciate you setting the mortgage rate that you used at like 4.5. I know we've had people getting around 4% lately, so that's a super realistic and conservative number. So yeah, again, really appreciate the breakdown here. I think this is very useful for people looking at properties in the Durham region.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I often get people saying, should we be buying a duplex right now? And I think the
Yeah.
answer is it really depends, right? Like I had a client who sold a cottage out of town, and they had a mortgage to port over at like 2.7%, and it was a no-brainer
Yeah.
for them to do it, right? I have clients who are moving into it. So this picture that I have here, my client moved into unit 1 and is renting out unit 2. And it makes sense for him because it's going to cost them just as much as it would cost to rent a house, but except he owns it now,
Yeah.
in an area where there's going to be appreciation. So, if you're purely buying it as an investment property and you can swallow the $61 a month, then perhaps, it is a good opportunity to purchase, because typically these bungalows that we're finding here at this price range do sit on a big lot. So there are future development opportunities on them as well. So if you can afford to do it, then I think it's a good opportunity to get in right now. But if you're someone who is very focused on cash flow, then I would say perhaps this is not the play. Perhaps you need to be in some of the other areas that we focus on, like the Peterborough or the Belleville areas. But nonetheless, good opportunity to look at some of these deals to see if they make sense for your personal scenario. And if anyone wants, we can definitely book one-on-one calls with investor clients who want to take a look at different options and show people, what's out there and kind of put this analysis in front of them.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
All right. So the Durham region. So, I know a lot of people are talking about the Durham region, but, what do people do in terms of work in the Durham region? What kind of industries we have? I know historically in the past, the Durham region has been, and specifically Oshawa has been known to be a manufacturing town. But I would say that manufacturing accounts for anywhere between 6 to 8% of the economy, and the majority of the economy is driven by healthcare, education, and some of these other fields that are here, manufacturing for that matter as well, being a smaller portion. But Lakeridge Health, Ontario Tech, GM, OPG, they account for a lot of the workforce here. The Ministry of Finance is here as well. So, there is a lot of opportunities and there's a lot of investments being made in the area. If people who are from around here, you drive around the Durham region, you're going to notice large industrial buildings going up. These are the shells that you see being built for the companies like Amazon, for Canada Post, and other e-commerce fulfillment centers. So there's a lot of opportunities coming to the Durham region. And I would say if you are someone who's looking to move to the Durham region, it's likely that you'll be able to find employment in the Durham region. But if not, like we mentioned in earlier in the presentation, the commute to downtown is very achievable and realistic, and not that long compared to being anywhere else in the GTA, except you're getting a better price point.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I'm always surprised when I see that slide about like all the giants that have employment in Durham region. Like, there are so many huge companies there that are situated perfectly there. And again, that value proposition of just having those great price points compared to a lot of the other larger cities near the GTA. Like, it's better for commuting. You have all this employment there. The houses are beautiful. I personally, I think I love the houses in the Durham region. Like they're large, a lot of them are like relatively newer compared to some other cities, and it's just such a beautiful area.
Yeah, and since we're on this slide, I'll bring everyone's attention to OPG, Ontario Power Generation. And, we have two nuclear plants, right? One in Pickering and one in Darlington. And OPG just recently made an announcement that they're going to be moving their headquarters to Oshawa. So any OPG, arm that is involved in working on the nuclear power plant is going to be relocating to Oshawa, to Clarendon. So head office is going to be in Oshawa, and all their HR, finance, any administrative work, whether you be in construction, logistics, is all going to be relocating to Oshawa. So as a result, we're going to be expecting to see a lot more people coming into the Durham region. And again, so they are a large employer here. I'm constantly getting people who have won bids working for OPG. I recently had a couple who won a bid to do some concrete work for them, and they're looking to buy a house here large enough to be able to store some of their equipment here, but also live and work out of their home as well. So a lot of people are moving to the Durham region. There is going to be appreciation in the area because of infrastructure, because of employment and population growth. So to me, now that prices have corrected and come down, this, in my opinion, is a good opportunity to be able to get in the market at a reduced price before there's another boom in appreciation, coupled with interest rates coming down as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? September 4th, we're expecting a potential drop again. And so if that actually does end up happening, it's going to be fantastic to see some of these. If you're in a buying position, it could be a really interesting time to really start making more offers on these properties that are sitting there. Like that's a ton of active listings and a ton of new listings coming up too. So there's just so much opportunity there to make creative offers. And that's what we're all about here on the channel. So I'm looking forward to that.
And for anyone who is looking to connect with us and work with us, we just wanted to kind of highlight the DR Group, the Durham Region Real Estate Group, and what we have to offer. So for any of our clients that work with us, as soon as you work with us, you have access to our list of 40 trusted tradespeople. So this is your electricians, plumbers, painters, call it whatever you want, your insurance providers for your home. You have an issue with your basement's leaking. We have 4 or 5 guys that we can recommend who can help you with waterproofing. This is very good. Oftentimes, as soon as our clients are done working with us, transactions done, we send them this document. They say, thank you so much, or it's our first time living in the Durham region. We don't have any contacts, and we provide them with people that they can call when they run into any issues. In-house CPA. So for all our investors, we're able to take a look at your investment properties and see, if you have set up everything efficiently for tax purposes. In-house legal guidance. So for any investor that's out there having issues with tenants, LTB issues, we'll be able to assist with that as well. We do the tenant screening and placement. So all our investor clients that we work with, we do all the due diligence for them. We make sure to get all the documents that they need for their tenants, save it for them and provide it to them along with the reference checks and due diligence that we do. And in the event that someone wants to work with a property manager, we have only 2 property managers here that we trust and we work with that we recommend. And for all our clients, we do an annual property valuation. So every year, anyone who is interested, we give them a free valuation of their property, just so they know where their property stands at any given time, any given year, and then they can decide whether it's a good time for them to either sell, do a refinance, or whatever it is that they may do.
That's awesome. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. It's great to have so much here in terms of support. And we've been talking a lot on the channel about assembling your power team and really making sure your power team is prepared at these points in the market, because I think a lot of the markets we've been talking about all are experiencing a relatively slow summer, which is not unexpected with typical seasonality, but it seems like a lot of markets are suffering even more so than typically when it comes to like amount of volume that's moving around, amount of listings that are coming up. This is one of the only markets actually that's got a bunch of listings. So
Absolutely.
It's pretty interesting. And what's really important that we keep highlighting is like power team, right? And what Saman's just talked about here is you actually get access to all of these tradespeople and all of this essentially like added value by working with him and his team that you would have to spend like hours and hours and hours to go out and assemble on your own. And the worst part about trying to assemble lists like this on your own is the mistakes and the cost that you end up having to bear if you make a mistake, if you use the wrong tradesperson, you get the wrong plumber, the wrong electrician, the wrong general contractor. These are mistakes that cost tens of thousands of dollars, and I know that because I've done it myself. So it's so awesome to have a service provider here that can provide you with support like that just by working with them, right? Like, these are vetted people that they're working with all the time. And I think that's a huge value add. And again, just a showcase of why we bring the people we do onto this channel, right? It's real people doing real things who are about to add value to your life and your business. So thanks again for sharing that, because I know we shoot these videos every month. So if you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do, because Saman's going to be back next month with more numbers and more deals. But like, it's easy to forget that all this value is also stacked in with working with the right realtor, right? Like, it's not just, it's easy to be like, oh, there's a lot of realtors, I could work with anybody. Sure, you could, but there's a ton of value stacked in here that's in addition to what Saman brings, you know, on top of being a market expert, as he's already shown us today. So thanks again for resharing this, because I know it's easy to forget that there's all this other value stack added with working with the right people.
Yeah, my pleasure. And like I said at the beginning of the video, like, the Durham region is a pretty big area. There are areas where honestly I would never take my investor clients or my end user clients, and you're not going to know that unless you work with someone from the area. I remember, you know, a very vivid phone call that I had with someone. This was during COVID, where there were newcomers to Canada. And they were somehow, you know, coupled with a realtor who was not from the area, and they ended up buying in a area that was not so great, and they didn't really find this out until they moved in and they realized what kind of activity was going on around them, and they were just like, you know, how do we get out of this? And unfortunately, at that point, it's just too late. So I would say that in the Durham region, there are quite a bit of areas, although it's very nice. I would say, you know, 80, 85, 90% of the areas are good, but the 10% of the areas which are not good, you really want to avoid. And, you know, this is not a secret. Like, I've talked about these different areas, these different streets, even on this channel, in our previous videos. So there's certain areas that I would not take anyone, my investors, myself, my clients. So that's another expertise that we bring. Like, you know, I've been in the Durham region for the last 20 years. 90% of my business is here in the Durham region, and we know this area really well. My office is in Oshawa. I live in Whitby. My business partners are in Whitby, Ajax, Pickering. So we have a very good understanding of the land and what's going on here. And that's how we're able to provide value to our clients who are, you know, in town or from out of town.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Saman.
My pleasure. And for anyone who wants to talk about their personal scenario, you know, if you have any questions, feel free to take out your phone, scan this QR code, and you can book a one-on-one call with me. We'll have a virtual coffee and we'll talk about anything that you want to talk about. No strings attached, just a way for you to connect with me. Or even if you like, you can just watch this video, drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to address any of your questions that you have. And looking forward to chatting with everyone. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the video so you're to the channel so you stay up to date with more videos coming out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks again, Saman. I really appreciate having you on the channel. You always bring a ton of value for us and for the people watching at home. So appreciate having you back. And I know we took the summer off, but we're back here. We're looking for consistency as we come into that fall market. So we will be back next month with more deals, more updates, and market news for the Durham region. Thanks for following along.